This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to Headlines Now with me, Ashmit. The next half hour will bring to you all the action from across the state and the country, action that affects you and action that you need to know about. The biggest news and the newsmakers await you in the next half hour. And first up, one of the biggest blast rocks Ooty now, even as the locals recall the loud bursts, a government ordnance factory nearly goes up in flames, claiming 5 lives. Sam Daniel, the chief correspondent for NDTV, joins us with the latest for the Impact story. Now, moreover, speaking of impact, Nandalala is all set to hit the screens and make an impact. What can the viewers watch out for? We bring to you the film crew, the producer, the cinematographer and the child artist to tell you more about the story. But nothing quite makes an impact or creates action like the Jallikattu, a fiercely debated issue with the passionate supporters on both sides of the line. We will be joined by Chinni Krishnan, an animal rights activist, to give us his views on the SC ruling today. But before we get you all the action, let's take a look at the headlines. Supreme Court slams the CBI yet again, demands answers as to why Raja was not questioned. Blast rocks Army's ammunition factory in Ooty. 5 people are believed to be dead. Monsoons are far from over. Rains will slash the southern Tamil Nadu coast, says the Met Department. The Supreme Court allows the Tamil Nadu government to continue Jallikattu for 5 months, but the order comes with a rider. Political stroke play leaves the public as collateral damage. Trade union polls cripple public transportation.
1.5 hours மேலே வெயிட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன் அந்த பஸ்ஸுக்கோசரம். 5:30க்கு முடிச்சு இங்கே வந்து என்னது 6:45 மேலேயும் பஸ் கிடையாது.
State Basketball Association and corporations slug it out even as Jayalalitha Stadium crumbles in a state of disrepair. And an interesting treat awaits you this weekend, a 30-year-old man with the mind of a 6-year-old child. But that's not all. A lot happening across the country. Let's take a look at some news from across the country that's making the headlines. The Finance Ministry asks banks to check if they've been compromised after the corporate loan scam that shook the markets. Yedurappa's troubles aren't over yet. Karnataka's Lokayukta says the probe into irregular land deals will continue. Number portability is here. You can retain your number but change your service. 26/11 survivor baby Moshe's grandparents are in Mumbai from Israel. They say Moshe still has a strong ties to the city. And 3 goals for India at the Asian Games, a double in the 400 meters hurdles and a gold in boxing as well. Now, first up in the big story, it's the latest twist to the 2G scam. The CBI has been asked by the Supreme Court to explain why A. Raja has not been questioned about his alleged role in the 2G scam. Now, this controversy over how 2G spectrum was allotted has cost Raja his job as the telecom minister. A report by the government's auditor blamed him for costing the government losses to the tune of 1.76 lakh crore in 2008 when he chose to award licenses for 2G spectrum instead of auctioning it. Now, the report also found that most of the licenses were given to companies who misrepresented facts or submitted incomplete information. Now, in another story that has been hitting the headlines, in an earth-moving story quite literally, we are getting initial reports that a blast has rocked a cordite or guns and ammunition factory located 12 kilometers east of Ooty. Now, according to Army sources, people trapped inside the factory have been rescued. Meanwhile, from early reports, we understand that 5 people have been killed. For more on this, we are now joined by Sam Daniel, the chief correspondent for NDTV. Now, Sam, if you can hear me, again, a very tense situation, tense day today in Ooty. Can you give us an idea of the scope of the blast here? Again, we understand that it did trap a lot of people inside. It was a huge blast with some of the locals describing it. Can you give us an idea again about the blast? It is being termed as one of the biggest. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, Ashpet, to begin with, police have now confirmed that 5 people have been killed, 10 more have been injured in that particular explosion that took place at the cordite factory at a place called Aravangaru, 12 kilometers from Ooty. This took place early in the evening today, and according to the police version, the accident took place at the acid tank inside the factory. According to them, workers were trying to mix two kinds of chemicals during which the explosion took place. But there is also another version coming from the sources from workers inside the factory. They say that the explosion took place when they were actually trying to move around 45 kilogram of explosives on a conveyor track, and on the way it hit another item which was blocking that particular track, and that impact, according to them, led to the explosion. But anyway, a probe has been ordered. Only a thorough investigation will reveal what exactly led to that particular explosion. But soon after that explosion, there were concerns that around 32 people could have been trapped inside. But now police confirm that they have accounted for all the missing people. Only 5 were actually working at that time. All 5 have been killed, and 10 people who were working in the neighboring section, they have suffered injuries now. But according to reports, right now the rescue work is going on. The army rescue team is right now doing the relief and rescue operations. The impact has been quite heavy. The explosion could be heard even 12 kilometers away from the accident site in Ooty, and even within the campus, they say the buildings in the radius of around 150 meters have suffered major damages. But according to the police, only a thorough investigation will clearly reveal. But the Corrid factory itself is a government-owned organization run by the Indian Ordnance Factory, producing propellants and fuses for guns and smaller arms and artilleries. So we'll have to wait for the investigation to be over for a clear picture on what exactly led to the explosion. Ashmit.
All right, Sam, thank you for joining us and again sharing with us all those details. Again, investigations critical here, and details will be revealed, as Sam Daniel pointed out, post the investigations. Moving ahead, the southern districts of Tamil Nadu are expected to receive isolated heavy rain today following a low pressure trough in the Bay of Bengal between Sri Lanka and the coastal Tamil Nadu. And in the latest, we are getting news of heavy showers in Pondicherry. Now, the rain-related incidents such as flash floods and building collapses have already claimed 88 lives this season of monsoons. Now, a compensation of 2 lakh rupees has been announced for families of each of the victims. A relief package for farmers will also be announced. Now, as a precaution, schools and most colleges in Puducherry, Cuddalore, Nagapattinam and Thiruvarur have been shut today. Now, already many parts of the state have been receiving good rainfall due to the northeast monsoons. Storage in many reservoirs, including the Vaigai Dam, are almost full, but many areas remain inundated. Now, in one issue that has been fiercely debated, the Supreme Court today allowed the practice of Jallikattu to continue to the 5 months as per the state laws. However, the Apex Court has slapped along with the order a few stringent conditions. The rider includes that the bulls have to be registered with the Animal Welfare Board. Moreover, the district collector will now be required to classify the event as either big or small, depending on the level of participation. The organizers will also be required to deposit a sum of 2 lakh rupees to be paid to the victims in case of an injury or death. Now, for more on this, we are joined over the phone line by Mr. Chinni Krishnan. He is again an animal rights activist and one who has been vociferously advocating against the practice of Jallikattu. Now, sir, if you can hear me, if I can ask you the question here. First up, again, the practice has been allowed to continue, so that you wouldn't be too happy about that. But are you at all at comfort about the stringent conditions, the riders that have been put on the government?
I'm terribly disappointed. Terribly disappointed. There is nothing that can be done. If you can condone cruelty this way, what else can I say? I'm terribly disappointed.
Right. Mr. Krishnan, stay with us. As he pointed out, he is not very impressed by the Supreme Court's order. Again, disappointed is the word that he's used. But not all parties are disappointed. Again, it has been a fiercely debated issue with passionate and fervor on both sides of the lines here. And we have Mr. Krishnan on one side. Of course, we were joined earlier by Mr. Vidyal Sekhar. He is an MLA with the Congress of the Kenyam district, and he gave us his take on the Supreme Court's order.
Jallikattu is a traditional game and youthful game. நான் தமிழகத்தினுடைய வீர விளையாட்டாக இருக்கிற ஜல்லிக்கட்டு நடத்துவதற்கு உச்ச நீதிமன்றம் ஆணையிட்டதற்காக வரவேற்கிறேன். அதிலே சில விஷயங்களை நான் பதிவு செய்ய விரும்புகிறேன். நான் காங்கிரஸ் கட்சியின் சார்பிலே ஜல்லிக்கட்டு வீர விளையாட்டு அனுமதி அளித்திருப்பது மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சிக்குரியது, வரவேற்புக்குரியது. அந்த வீர விளையாட்டு நடத்துவதன் மூலமாக தமிழர்களுடைய மானம் பாரம்பரியமிக்க விளையாட்டு இன்றைக்கு விளையாடுவதற்கு அனுமதி கிடைத்திருப்பது மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சி அளிக்கிறது. இதிலே உயிர் பலி ஆவதையும் பாதுகாப்பு ஏற்பாடுகளையும் அரசு சற்று கவனமாக கவனிக்க வேண்டும் என கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். முக்கியமாக பாதுகாப்புக்காக கவசம் அணிந்து கொண்டு அந்த உயிர் பலியாவதை தடுப்பதற்காக தக்க ஏற்பாடுகளை செய்ய வேண்டும். ஜல்லிக்கட்டு நடக்கிற இடங்களிலே மருத்துவ சிகிச்சைக்கான உடனடி மருத்துவ சிகிச்சைக்கான அவசர சிகிச்சை ஏற்பாடுகளை செய்து இந்த விளையாட்டினுடைய பாரம்பரியத்தை இன்னும் காத்தால் நன்றாக இருக்கும் என்கின்ற கருத்தை எனது சார்பிலும் காங்கிரஸ் கட்சியின் சார்பிலும் பதிவு செய்ய விரும்புகிறேன். ஜல்லிக்கட்டு தமிழுடைய வீர விளையாட்டாக இருக்கிற விளையாட்டை விளையாட அனுமதித்திருப்பது வரவேற்கத்தக்கது. அனிமல்ஸ்க்கான அதுக்கு அதுல வந்து அனிமல்ஸை பாதிக்காதவர்கள் அந்த கிரீன் ப்ளூ கிராஸ் செய்யற அந்த இதெல்லாம் பார்த்து கொஞ்சம் பாதுகாப்பா இருந்து அந்த அனிமல்ஸ்க்கு எந்த பாதிப்பு ஏற்படுத்தாத அளவில் இந்த விளையாட்டை ஊக்குவிக்க வேண்டும்.
So there you have it, arguments coming in favor of the practice of Jallikattu. With that, let's go again back to Mr. Krishnan, who is again joining us over the phone line from Delhi. Mr. Krishnan, there you heard some arguments from a Congress MLA again. Any views on that? He has termed this as again a very integral part of the culture. He's used the word culture again. Any your views on that?
I'm a proud Tamilian, and he can not be more proud of being a Tamilian than I am. This is the land of Thiruvalluvar. And this, to be my culture doesn't include cruelty. This is barbaric what they are doing. They take an animal, they intoxicate it. All this is being done only because of the massive amounts of money involved and the betting that goes on.
Right, Mr. Krishnan. So again, he's as he points out again, culture is not a strong enough argument there to actually go ahead with this practice of Jallikattu. Mr. Krishnan, thank you so much for joining us and again giving us some perspective on this one issue and again for your time here. Thanks a lot for joining us. Now moving ahead, one of the most crucial transport union elections took place today, but the public bore the brunt of it. More on that in just a moment.